Hello P1, you're welcome to my lesson. Hope everybody is fine and you're ready for this lesson. I've come with mathematics once again, and remember we are talking about fractions this time. We are talking about fractions. Last time when I came, we named the fractions. You still remember what a fraction is? A fraction is part of a whole, and I told you a whole means one full thing. If it's a mango, it's a whole. If it's a full mango, it's a whole. If it's a full apple, it's a whole. If it's a loaf of bread, it's a whole. But once you cut it into pieces, there you're making fractions. And among the fractions, we talked about a half, a third, and a quarter. You remember? We cut those fractions. All right. From there, we looked at how we can identify the shaded fraction. For example, if maybe I have that whole, this is my whole. Now I'm cutting it into two parts to make one part a half and another part a half. And I shade only one side. Which fraction have I shaded? I have shaded one part out of the two parts. And if I shed one out of two, we call it a half. We call it a half. If I have my loaf of bread, this is a whole. It's a whole loaf of bread. Now I want to slice it. I have sliced it into three parts. Now I'm shading that part. I'm giving it out to somebody, and that part. This is what I've remained with. Which fraction have I given out? I have given out two parts, but remember I had three parts. So I have given out 2/3. I have given out 2/3, right? I have another one. Let me divide it into 4 parts. Now, I'm going to remove that part, this part, and that one. How many parts have I removed? I have removed 3 parts. So, out of the 3 parts, remember I had 4. So I have removed 3/4. I have removed 3/4. So this is how we name the shaded fraction. Now we are going to name the unshaded fraction. We are going to name the unshaded fraction. The word unshaded means not shaded. Not shaded. So today we are going to look at the part which is not shaded. Not shaded is the same as unshaded, but I'm not going to use not shaded, I'm using unshaded. So we are going to name the unshaded fraction. We are going to leave the shaded fraction alone because we looked at it last time, right? Now, let's see. Name the unshaded fractions. I have that apple. I'm dividing it into 4 equal parts. I told you they must be the same. Don't cut one piece small, another one big. They must all be the same. I'm now shading that part. Now tell me, remember we are not naming the unshaded fraction, the one which is not shaded, the unshaded fraction, the one which is not shaded. Now, how many parts do we have here? 1, 2, 3, 4. Out of the 4 parts, which parts, how many parts are not shaded? We are looking at those parts which are not shaded. So I have this one, 1, I have 2, I have 3. So my fraction will be 3/4, because there are 3 parts which are not shaded out of the 4 parts. You see how simple fractions are? Okay, that was my number 1. Let me give you another example. That's my loaf of bread. It's a whole. I'm now slicing it. How many parts have I made? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 6 slices. Now I'm shading that one. I'm shading another part and another one. Remember, we are naming the unshaded fraction, the one which is not shaded. Now let's see, which parts are not shaded? I have 1 part not shaded. I have another one and another one. So when I count them, 1, 2, 3. I have 3 parts which are not shaded, but all of them are how many? Are they 3? No, they are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I have 3/6 of the parts which are not shaded. One more example. That's my box. I'm going to shade some parts and we see the fraction which is not shaded. Very fast. Can you identify the ones which are not shaded? How many are they? The ones which are not shaded, the unshaded fraction. I have 1, 2. So there are 2 out of how many? 1, 2, 3, 4. I have shaded. I have 2/4 of the unshaded fraction. Okay? That's how simple mathematics is. That's how we can name the unshaded fraction. Right now, I'm going to give you some few numbers. You name for me the unshaded fractions. Remember, unshaded means not shaded. Don't count the shaded fraction, you are counting the unshaded fraction. Name the unshaded fraction. 1. You're naming the unshaded fraction. 2. You're naming the unshaded fraction. 3. And lastly, remember, a fraction is shown by that bar. By that bar. You shouldn't forget it. If you forget it, it will not be a fraction, it will be a different number. Thank you so much for listening. I wish you the best. Do my work very well. Don't rub. You can use a bottle top to draw such. can use a ruler to draw these ones. I thank you and have a blessed day.